Advent is one of my favorite times of year. One of the reasons that I love Advent so much is because some of the hymnody, the songs that we sing are just deep and rich, and some of my favorite ones. And Advent is such a short season, we often don't have time to sing all of the awesome Advent hymns during this time. And so if you've been around me at all, you'll know that one of my mantras about Advent is, it's not Christmas. It is not Christmas yet. One of my favorite images that I have seen is there's this great meme of a Union Civil War general, kind of a formal photo. He's got his hand in his jacket, kind of looking off to the side like this. And it says, "The war on Christmas cannot end until its illegal occupation of November is over." And that's kind of where I am, although I would say the first 23 and a half days of December as well. So it is not Christmas. We have this time of waiting, and we don't like to wait. And I know you're thinking, but I love walking through all the stores at the beginning of November and hearing relentless Christmas jingles all the time. But when you were a kid and gifts started to arrive at your house, were you allowed to open them at the beginning of December? No, you weren't. And what did your parents say? It's not Christmas yet. We have to wait until Christmas. Now, when we think about this business of waiting, maybe I'm different than all of you, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Is it your favorite thing to do, to wait for things? As Christians, as we look towards Christmas, we're certainly looking towards the 25th of December, the day that we observe the birth of Christ. But primarily, as people of faith, we are not looking backwards. We are looking forward. The text for today maybe didn't sound very Christmassy, and the reason is it's not Christmas yet. If I wasn't clear, it's not Christmas yet. And so the idea is that we are waiting. We are waiting because Christ promised to come again. And so we are always, as people of faith, waiting. But during Advent, that waiting comes to the front. It's a time where we are intentional in saying it's not Christmas yet. But not only is it not yet Christmas, but we are still, as people of faith, waiting for the return of Christ, when all things will be made new. It's a season where we juxtapose our understanding of what Christ intends for this world and how our world actually is, and how those are not the same thing. This sense of anticipation, this sense of hope, this sense of aching in some ways for something that is to come. Now, there are a couple of things as we start out in Advent. Maybe you have a nativity set at home and you have the figures all together and you've got the wise men and the shepherds and Mary and Joseph and the cow and the camel and everybody all in there. And I would say, don't. Take a minute. Put Mary and Joseph somewhere else and move them towards the stable. Put the wise men in a different room. You can see them in the back corner here in the glass. They will make their journey so that they show up on the 6th of January. You will see them come. They were not there with the shepherds, just so. It's not Christmas yet, if I didn't mention that earlier. This sense of journey and progress and hope over and against an ache of the world that is not the way God intended it to be, and our life in the middle of that juxtaposition, right? Now, when we read the lessons that we have for today, there's an image in there that I've been reflecting on a lot. In our world, when there is a sense that the powerful are missing an opportunity to be even more powerful, or we become afraid or are taught to be afraid of the world, we often look at all of the tools and resources that we have for this life, and we begin to change them. We open up the toolbox of this life, and we take out the screwdriver and put it aside and put a second hammer in it. And we take out the Phillips head screwdriver and we replace it with another hammer. And we replace the pliers with yet another hammer. And we replace all of our tools and all of our resources with one hammer after the next, after the next, after the next, until every problem in our life and world and society is a nail, right? And it turns out that not every problem in our life or the world is a nail. What are we called to be about? The first reading that we have for today conjures up a different image, pulling those hammers or swords out and beating them into plowshares, right? Tools that allow us to build life and hope around us in a world that is all about scarcity, all about fear of neighbor, all about getting ahead regardless of the cost to the environment, the world, our nation, our community, our families, all of these things. And we are called to live differently. To be the one standing off to the side saying, I don't think we need that seventh hammer. Maybe some glue would be good, right? The idea that we are called to live differently in a world that insists that everything is a nail. Now, as we move through these weeks of Advent, as we mark this time and sense the journey and ache for that time when Christ comes again, we are called in the gospel text to be awake and alert. These texts, when they land on us, are difficult because our current context, everywhere and at every time, shades the meaning. And in the United States in these days, when we think about a thief and a knife, we start thinking about hammers and weapons and other things like this. But the idea is that we are to be alert in how we are called to see Christ in action in our world and to act with that momentum and energy. To be the ones who see forces for life and nurturing happening and to jump into that and say, I'm going to participate in that. I'm going to put my hammer down because Christ has called me to live differently in this world. And he has promised to return. And I want to work towards that return with every breath I take. So as you move through this time, remember, it's not Christmas. To be awake, to be alert, to resist the energy of this world that says our neighbor is our competitor, our enemy, someone to be fearful of, and that we are called to beat those hammers and swords into plowshares, that we might reflect Christ's light as life into this world. Amen.